Hi, Corey Costello here. Welcome once again to another edition of Roadrunner Rundown, our special fall sports preview edition. On today's program, we'll hear from coaches and student athletes as the 2014 season gets underway. Men's soccer is getting ready behind us. We'll also speak with coaches and student athletes of CSUB women's soccer, volleyball, and cross country. But first, the Roadrunners men's soccer team getting ready, getting practice underway, and they've got new leadership in 2014 and some new faces as well. Here's our preview of the 2014 CSUB men's soccer season.
Boom, now we play out.
For the first time in 26 seasons, there's a new face calling the shots at CSUB soccer practice. New head coach Richie Grant, and the Runners are a week into training camp with their new leader.
Really pleased, you know, a life fitness test to start, and the results were very positive, followed by a good afternoon of training. You know, we did some technical work, and at night we played. And you know, sometimes it's important, you know, in our sport we wait so long to get the lads back. For me, the pre-season is more of a gradual process than to, you know, we want to prevent injuries. We want to gradually get the lads to match fitness. But the vast majority have prepped very well, and they've arrived in good shape, so that they should meet the demands of the camp.
Like any journey, it begins with the first steps and the first priorities as CSUB gets ready for game action this week.
Well, the first thing is with your, you know, you have a couple of things. One, you want to make sure that your returners are improving and have come back stronger and fitter, and you know, the natural process in college is that these players should be getting better. They should assume more of a bigger influence with the team as they get older. So you look for that in the body language of the older players. Have they returned a little bit sharper than what they were in the spring? Are they ready for the coming season? And that was also very positive. The other thing you look at is your recruiting. You know, when you identify those players, you're looking at them at a variety of levels, development academy, clubs. You're watching them in high school settings. So now you have to quickly see how do they make the adjustment to the college setting. So your training sessions have to cater to both sets of players. Was very encouraged about the first years. You know, that's the first thing. I think our staff, we were able to look at each other and be like, we've got some good boys here that will help the team. Some immediately, and some as the program moves forward in the future, which I think in any first year class, that's what you want. You know, we didn't need all of them to play this year immediately because it would make us very young, and we have 5 senior players in the team. But a competent group, they've gelled well with the team. So they're the kind of things we will use the first few days, is getting those young lads acclimated. And also we've been here a short amount of time as a staff, so we're putting a new system in place for the players, and last night was the first time we played with that outside of our spring game. So you know, that's going well as well.
Close him, quicker! Close him! Close him! Good!
As the team begins to come together, Richie Grant says the foundation will be built in the defense.
For the first part of the camp, we're going to emphasize and focus and work on our individual and team defending. I think it's really important that our shape is good. I think we can be a dangerous team on the break. We have good team quickness, we have good players going forward, and we want to make sure that our discipline in our defending, our attitude to our defending, is solid. You know, so we're just introducing that now at camp, and good response from the players. But it's imperative as we go to a campaign of 18 games in 2 months. The foundation of our success will be built on how well we shape up as a team when we defend.
Within that defense is both a core group of returners and key newcomers to help the Roadrunners.
Yeah, a big goal in our recruiting was to bring in some players that could help the team immediately. You know, we feel like we have a good senior class. There's a good group of boys here with a lot of Division 1 experience. They have a lot of games under their belt. So we had to identify a couple of players that could add to that success right away. We needed a little bit of size, a little bit more physical presence. So that's been identified in the class. So, and then the goal of your recruiting is to create competition for what you have. And I think we certainly accomplished that in the class we brought in. There's going to be much more competition for us. Obviously the spring was limited in terms of the number of games and how many players we had, but now there's more spots up for, there's more players competing for the spots that are available now. You know, so we'll definitely have 1 or 2 fresh faces across the back, And but the way we're trying to resolve that is just with the way that the team defends is so important to us right now. The spots will take care of themselves, but it's vital that the whole team knows how we want to defend.
On the offensive side of things, the Roadrunners will be a creative scoring bunch with several options to put the ball in the net.
Yeah, we're pretty pleased, and it's another area that was strengthened. We had two young players playing in forward positions in training yesterday, but with David and Dante and Christian, with Joe behind them, we have some good options to attack teams, and that's something we're really pleased with. I think we've added to that. We've good team quickness. We have, we just have good ideas when we get into the attacking third. So that's, to be honest with you, that's very hard to teach as well. So with Christian's creativity, with our quickness up front, I think that's something that we can be positive about the way we approach games, in that we're probably going to create chances. And we know from the summer, we just knew that we were going to have lots of options. Now we also don't have that outstanding goal scorer, so we feel that the burden is going to be shared amongst a lot of players. But I think there's 5-6 lads that can come up with multiple goals for us. So I hope we're proved right.
One continuing competition is goalkeeper, where the runners return experience and good coaching.
But the most important thing we did for the keepers is that we got a commitment from Bug to be with us for the fall. He's won a national championship here. He really understands the history of the program, and he's very excited to be part of it now that it is a Division 1 program. So his expertise, his knowledge, just as a person, he's just a top person. So he's now working daily with the goalkeepers, and that's a big advantage that we didn't have in the spring. So we expect the goalkeepers to get better and improve, and build that connection with the back, with the defenders, whether we play with 3 or 4. So the first piece for the goalkeepers was vital, that we got them some training, and that's been taken care of. So now they can all look technically to improve each day with his guidance. They've all reported back well. Hector's been good for us because he was a first year last year. He got the opportunity to play in the spring, and the other 2 lads both have game experience from last fall.
The Roadrunners open with an exhibition this week at Stanford before heading to San Diego State to open the regular season next week. Coach Grant says this time is planned out and around this tough early schedule.
Yeah, it's all planned, to be fair. I mean, this is a heavy period. We're in triple sessions, which is quite tough and quite unique, but the response is good to that. And that'll take us right through. We play Stanford in pre-season, and we have to keep training before that game. We can't really back off. We have to train hard, and we have to build a fitness base. But that will give us an opportunity to play a very top Division 1 opponent. I wish we had more games. The way our schedule is balanced is that we have 19 regular season games, so we're only allowed the 1 pre-season game. And after we come out of camp, ahead of the San Diego State game, we'll go down to 1 session a day with the 4 or 5 days leading up to it. So it's a very normal camp in that regard. But I think, and it takes 4 to 6 games in the fall to be fully played in. So you have to hope that you catch some breaks at the start of the season. And we play a tough schedule at the start. And our goal is to be well prepared for conference play in October.
With that tough schedule comes the ability to prepare for conference, something not lost on the Roadrunners coaches or players.
Yeah, we told the lads that we would sit down at the end of camp, kind of assess our performance and the availability of players, the fitness, who's improved, who looks good. And we have a goal as a team, but that we said that we would kind of discuss that with the new group when we came out with a pre-season camp. And I think these lads are extremely focused on conference play. So that's a good thing, because it comes in October. And it gives us a little bit of time to make sure that we're really peaking at the right time.
Western Athletic Conference play opens October 4th for CSUB on national television at home against former CSUB head coach Simon Tobin and San Jose State. Plenty of pressure packed into one home game.
Yeah, I mean, the game has everything, doesn't it? It's fantastic. It just all played out really, really well. I mean, our heartbeat is that it's good. It's good for the sport. It's fantastic for our kids, particularly for our older players, our senior players. To put 4 years in at Division 1, and then now to have a televised game in your own league, on your own campus. I think it's such a great opportunity for our players. And one, we're marketing it, we're promoting it. We've done a lot of groundwork in terms of getting our players out into the community. So I hope it's a special night all round, and I hope that we perform well in the match.
After finishing in second place last year, this team is looking to build on that success, again with special attention paid to conference matches.
The boys know, we know what we want to do in the league, but we'll go about that job quietly. The one area that I would warn our program, I would warn the rest of the country about the conference, is the conference didn't have a great year last year, and it's going to be better. And that's no disrespect to the league, just slightly is a brand new league. We know from what everybody's done in terms of recruiting, and when the league becomes more stable, and then the success of Seattle, they won the league and they found a way to continue to win into the NCAA tournament. So that probably boosts the league a little bit. The league is going to be stronger this year. Everybody needs to know that. So placing first and second is going to be more difficult, I think, in this campaign. But that would be a priority in the regular season, is to get one of those two spots, because it provides a rest opportunity in the tournament. But look, when it comes to any Division I game, you really just take it one day at a time, one game at a time. And for us, the conference comes in October, so we have to lay a foundation here in September of how we want to play.
With a new coach comes a new style for fans to look forward to this season at the main soccer field.
One of the things I like about this team, it's one of the most exciting teams I've seen going forward. We break very well. The players there's a lot of naturally creative players in the team. So we're not going to stifle them in that area. So I definitely think we'll play attractive college football. We're very concerned about educating the players on the right way. We will not play a direct style. We will try to pass the football and solve the problems with good movement, with good passing. So I think in terms of people coming out and supporting, there's some great home games, and I think it'll be exciting football.
The Roadrunners open the regular season next Friday at San Diego State. Their home opener scheduled for September 13th against UC Davis at the main soccer field. All right, so to come on Roadrunner Rundown, we'll speak with women's soccer head coach Gary Kerneen, also previewing volleyball and cross country. So stick around as this special fall sports preview edition of Roadrunner Rundown continues. Welcome back to the Fall Sports Preview edition of Roadrunner Rundown. We already talked about CESUB men's soccer and the new leadership under head coach Richie Grant. Women's soccer will get their action underway this week as well, as they host Gonzaga and Eastern Washington. We've been following the ladies a little bit through their first weeks in training camp. I got a chance to catch up with a couple of student athletes and more from head coach Gary Kerneen as we preview the 2014 CESUB women's soccer program. Head coach Gary Kerneen and his Roadrunners are a week into training camp, and thus far he's pleased with the progress.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think we've made a fair bit of progress. One of the good things or the bad things about pre-season probably is that you never know how much that progress is. Our work rate's been good. I think we've moved the players' fitness levels from general to match. We're working at a good intensity, and we're getting a bit more consistent with it, which is what we're trying to do. I think once we can put that into performances, I think now we're at the second half of pre-season where we're a bit more wary now of managing upcoming games and managing fatigue, and then putting everything into a system of play that we can hopefully go into the first game and be competitive with. So I've enjoyed it, and the girls have worked really hard. So the work rate's been good. They've come together well, but there's a long way to go.
I think the first week of practice, we knew we were going to be pushed. We knew we were going to go to certain limits that we'd never been before. A lot of the returners have stepped it up, I think, and to push the freshmen. And a lot of freshmen have pushed us, to do better. They came in, some of them came in like really fit, so wanted us to make us work harder. So I think that we had a good first week of practice. We know where we want to be. So
Many of Kearney's coaching changes centers around the thought process with this team.
We still have a thought process where we probably we stumble a little bit once the challenge arrives, and it's something that we're consciously trying to fix in everything. We're challenging them in every exercise, and we're trying to bring a bit of that off the field as well. So getting better, but is it good enough to compete at this level? Not just yet, I would say no.
With several seniors on the roster, transitioning in new players has also taken on a different role this year.
And we wanted to change, a captain's role from an authoritative position to a relationship position to a bit more of a connector. So our captains and our leaders, so to speak, in the summer we've urged them to go out and build these relationships coming in. So one, it makes the girls a bit more comfortable coming in, the freshmen coming in, and then second of all, it increases the influence of the older players, because now they're not just listening to you because they have to. There's a respect level there, and I think there's a bit of a, they like these people as well, and that's part of it too. So that's what we've tried to do. The girls have been really good at it so far, but saying that meeting yesterday, it's like we've got it to a decent base level. It needs to be a bit more for us to use that as a competitive advantage to go into games on a Sunday afternoon and use that team spirit to get over the line in a game.
I think it's definitely a lot different with the teamwork, with how cohesive the team is. Everybody's getting along, and the coach really pushes us to, we have higher standards this year. We are pushing for more, and so that's something that's really different. Is we're not just sitting back and accepting, past failures. Right now we're trying to go above and beyond what we've ever done. So I think that's really different, and you can tell with just how close the team is and with how hard we're working. And it's really showing in our practice.
That's the problem. You're not engaged, so you're not thinking, all right, she'll play short. You're happy enough with her doing that. But you've got to be, at least, if you're not screaming for it, you have to.
Yeah, I remember our freshman year, we were just like a totally different group, We felt like we were below. And, we want the freshmen to feel like they're on the same page with us, so we could both push each other, So we want the freshmen to, give us something. We want them to tell us, hey, we need to do this. You need to play my feet. So those types of things.
Gary Kearney knows who he expects to be a big part of the team's success this season.
I think in pre-season, some of the girls that have led from day one, you can see which girls are really hammering it in their fitness testing and stuff like that, and they've set the tone, and it's kind of gone from there. I think Frenchie, Taylor French has been a phenomenal work rate in. I think Becca Ellis has put a great summer in. Sarah Cook, Taylor Wheeler, and Hedda as well. I think those girls have really lifted up. The goalkeepers, have come in good shape as well, and it's going to be tight. So if we can get that, we don't have that competition. Between the goalkeepers, we don't have that level of competition the whole way through the program at the minute. But if we could get to half of what the goalkeepers are going through, then this is going to be a really, really competitive program, which can then drive people to perform a lot better. So, yeah, the older players coming in, and then one or two freshmen have surprised us as well, and they're getting better every day, we think.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of returners. We have 6 seniors, and I think that's one of the biggest senior classes that we've had in a while, and definitely a lot more returners. So it's kind of half and half with the new players and the old players, and I think it's really good because we have older players who can be the leaders and bring the team in and bring the newcomers in. But I also think that the newcomers are really stepping up their game in the leadership aspect, because they're seeing what standards we have for them, and they're going to push us right back. So I think it's really good because the freshmen that we have are strong.
After winning WAC Freshman of the Year, Hedda Regafalk will be looked upon to provide a lot for CSUB. Gary Kearney feels she's up to it and doesn't expect a letdown.
I mean, my first impressions of Hedda was obviously there's talent there, and there's more than what I don't think Hedda was actually that over excited about her last season. And you look statistically, and she did perform, but she just doesn't get much help. So Hedda will produce more when she gets more help in this team, and we can stop and prevent putting her into 1-against-3 situations and start getting some numbers up there. So she's been fantastic throughout. Her attitude has been great, and if she can start scoring 1 or 2 goals, this thing can start rolling. So she's someone we're going to look to in that area for sure. But I don't think, we talk about a sophomore slump, and I think she's going to get better and better. I really do.
Good.
We had that in the first couple of days. Was we're trying to find our DNA, and do we describe ourselves as a defensive team or an offensive team, and there's big question marks everywhere. But we're trying to get midfielders to join in it. We're trying to get wide players pushed up a little bit more. I'd say natural attackers. Maya Green as a freshman is a natural attacker who's going to come in. Danielle Leon as a transfer student. Jess Moorhead is going to get in the in those areas as well. And then you've got Alex Backman and Hayley Hatfield and players and Ashley Burrell who are maybe play a little bit deeper, that we're trying to push up and just add those extra numbers up there. And probably we've got there in the past couple of days in practice, but is that consistency there yet? Not quite.
Much of the team's success will be won in the defense and midfield positions, where the runners return a lot of experience.
Yeah, we've got a great base in terms of our personalities. We've got a great base. In terms of we probably could do with a little bit more in the offensive end, if I'm honest. Which we're looking at, from a recruiting side of view. That's where we're trying to strengthen right away. But we're blessed with a very, very good spine of characters, I believe, and those girls I mentioned before, and they're looking at bringing that out of other people. So you've got good people here. Good people sometimes equates to good athletes and good competitors, and that's what we're trying to get to at the minute. But those players have come in and done really, really well, so we're trying to keep that going for sure.
As the runners prepare for their first games this week, Gary Kearney knows it's a long process, and the coaching staff needs to prepare the team for that.
Yeah, that's what we want to get. We want to hit the ground running for the Grand Canyon game in September 26th. That's our target. So we've got to harden and make no bones about it. You look at where we've got to go play, and this is a very, very challenging schedule. If we are setting this up for results, then we're going to have to. We've a lot of work to do in those weeks, and if we go to Gonzaga, come here, and if that doesn't work out, we've got to start again on Saturday. And so we're trying to progress it from and focus on the process. It'll get a bit more now where it gets into a bit more in the system and a bit more into performance and how we can, we've trained really well, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't bring that onto the field. But we've got, as coaches, we've got to provide a support for our players to do that. So there's no point if we lose and us throwing the toys out of the pram, so to speak. So we've got to provide that for the players, and we can keep them on track. I'm pretty confident in this group of people and in our, with Clifton and CJ as well, and with Katie joining us, that we've got a fairly level-headed coaching staff that we can keep this group motoring along, and then when it hits the conference we can hopefully get some momentum going and get some W's.
With 2 games this week, the Roadrunners are still preparing their own game plan before worrying about the opponents.
I think, especially in these early games, it'll be about us, and that's not being arrogant to say that they have to worry about us, because I'm sure they're not worrying about us. But we've got to get a few things right before we're in any way, can take information. You're right. There would be an overload if I came in with a scouting report and we've got to adapt this and adapt this and adapt this. So right now we're trying to get a base. We're trying to get a system together. We'll trust the players to implement that system, and then we'll try and work on it for the next week, perform, play some games, and then we'll bit by bit we'll bring in feedback of our system, and then we'll bring in forecasts of what to expect in these other games, and hopefully not, we don't overload these players with mental information, because we all know they've got enough to go through, but that's the fun part. The fun part is getting out and playing games, and we want to see, it's all well saying we're doing good and we're happy with this, but I want to see this group go out there and see if we can produce it on the field, and there's only one way to find out.
As a coach, he's everything like we really wanted. He's like extremely engaged. He pushes every player, no matter who it is. He keeps everybody involved. It's a team unit. It's not individuals. It's about the team. And I think he has standards for everybody, every single person. They're consistent. He's very, very devoted to his job, and you can tell, you could see that he has a lot of passion for the game, and he has a lot of passion for our team. So he definitely wants us to succeed, and he knows like realistic goals. He knows what we need to do to reach those goals, and he's very well thought out with our practices, with our drills, everything. So it's really nice to have this different, like, change of pace.
Goals are big in soccer, from scoring them to setting them for a new season. The runners have theirs in sight.
You know, goal setting. I think the players for their realistic goal, they've set conference tournament. They have a dream goal as well. I won't tell you what that is. But yeah, I think a conference tournament. I think a high conference finish. You know, those are the goals for, you know, probably the tangibles. I think for a process point of view, we're changing a system here and changing a culture here of the way we work, and we're asking a bit more of the players. We're mentally asking a lot more of them as well. So if we can keep this group together and keep them on track and keep them moving and keep everyone involved, I think that'll be huge progress. But yeah, we need to win some games as well. Of course, that's part of it as well.
Yeah, we definitely have like kind of want to like. It's like a payback mentality. It's like we were one goal away from making the playoffs, and we could have done it. So it's kind of, everybody's really fired up. Everybody, especially the returners. We're in a conference. We know that we can make it to the tournament. We know it's achievable, and we just have to really like stay focused throughout the season in order to get there. And we know what it takes.
Bakersfield opens this Friday against Gonzaga at 7 p.m. before facing Eastern Washington Sunday at 3. Back after this, we are going to transition indoors for a few moments and talk with new volleyball head coach Giovanna Mello and preview her 2014 season as the Roadrunners try to improve on last year's second-place finish in the Western Athletic Conference. Stick around for that as we continue on the special Fall Sports Preview edition of Roadrunner Rundown.
The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes, we're developing tomorrow's leaders from lessons learned during competition. For more information, log on to gorunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown and our 2014 Fall Sports Preview Edition. We're out here in front of the Icardo Center, the home of CSUB Volleyball, where the changes to the Icardo Center aren't just the inside. The CSUB Volleyball team has a new head coach in Giovanna Mello as she brings a new look of volleyball to Bakersfield. Let's preview the 2014 Roadrunners. While there's a fresh coat of paint on the blue floor of the Icardo Center, there's also a fresh look to CSUB Volleyball. Head coach Giovanna Mello.
Trying to do everything that we've been asked for them to do, and so I'm really excited. We have a great group, and they just want to get better, so I'm excited.
The program lost a few key players in last year's second-place WAC run, but Coach Mello says the team chemistry is good and there's a lot of talent on the roster.
It's been, you know, obviously the ones that are returning, they understand where they were last year and where they need to get, so they have a little bit more of experience. But the new ones are really. Doesn't seem like they weren't, you know, much in the court. To me, it just looks like they're just a part of the group. They're very welcoming of each other, and they seem like a great group with each other. There are obviously some things that obviously any team needs to work on, but I think that we have a pretty, you know, unexperienced team, but we have a very athletic team, and so there's a lot of things that we can do with them that make them better, and I guess the goal is to get better every day, and the success of the team is gonna, you know, only show, I think, at the end, because like I said, there's so many new things that we're doing that for them is completely new, changing a lot of things, but it's slowly getting a little bit better, and it's slowly showing until, you know, what we'll be able to be at the end of this season.
With the new comes changes, and so far the runners are taking them in stride.
I guess in many little details, maybe the way they block, it's a little bit different. The way that we play defense is a little bit different. The speed of the sets and the things, the speed of the game that I play in is a little bit different that they're used to. So a few little things in every fundamental. I'm just very big on the fundamental on itself, and then obviously becoming a team. So to me, it's very important that they understand every skill of the game and why they do the way they do and why I want them to do the things in a certain way. And so I think that's why it's taking a little bit, because they're not used to do that, and I think that's being a little bit different for them.
It's definitely a lot different than everything we've been taught before, but we're all coming in with open minds. We're working on trusting the system, and I think it's going to be very good.
If the ball goes right there, it's not your ball. It's her ball. You keep on getting everything this side.
I just,
right in front of
I try to be very specific with those things, because they need to learn to communicate and say, okay, this is my ball and I'm going to go for this ball because it's mine. You don't need to come anywhere near me because I know, it's mine and I know it's mine, and we're going to get it done that way. And so I'm very big with those little things, little specific things that I like them doing it. That before it was a little bit different, that they were kind of, a few going for one thing, a few doing just for one ball, a few kids, and so it's a little bit different. So it's just little things that I'm very big on, that we're trying to make those changes.
Offensively, Bakersfield lost a lot of production at graduation, meaning Coach Mello and company will be replacing it in pieces this season.
Definitely, with the speed of the game and the way we play, it's a completely different system, and that's what I'm hoping for, that we're playing more as a team. We're not just depend on one hitter or two hitters, but actually we're distributing it a little bit more. So we have some pretty good hitters in every single part of the court. So, yeah. I mean, obviously we have Molly returning, who's been with the team for the past, 4 years, and so she knows and understands her role within the team. We haven't really gotten into a little bit more details within their roles, but she knows what she has to bring, and so she's obviously very big offensively for us. Mariah is very big defensively, and also understanding, has that experience, in the back row. So, and obviously we're expecting Kelsey to do extremely well. Sarah didn't see a lot of court last year, but we're hoping that she will see a lot more this year and bringing a lot, because the same thing, she has the experience within the team and has a lot to bring to the program. So there, I don't want to say just a few names, but those are the ones that, are returning and have a little bit of experience, but all the other ones, Star, Sid, all the other ones that were already here but didn't play as much, I think going to make a big difference this year.
Several returners that saw limited playing time last season are back, giving Coach Mello plenty of experience to draw from in 2014.
Yeah, I love it. I think that it shows a lot, about those kids and how much they have to improve, and having a lot of time with them. I mean, I have 4 years with Sid, and it's really exciting to me. It's someone who doesn't have a lot of experience but has a lot to offer, and I like to train those kind of kids, because you see, at the end where they started and where they're going to finish. So I really love working with those type of kids.
We definitely have only 2 new girls and 9 returning, so we'll have a strong squad. I know we've all played together, most of us, and I think Louisa and Megan will definitely be a benefit to our team.
There's also a familiarity with a few Roadrunners that played under Coach Mello at Western Nebraska Community College as well, one of whom is Danica Youngblood.
Hey, obviously, Danica knows exactly how I run things and what I do, how I like it done, and she, I think, is one example of someone who was, she's done really well before here, came here, probably didn't do as well as she would have liked for, but I think this year, as being a senior, she has put, some pressure on herself, but I think that it's, she just brings a lot to the program, and I hope that she can come back and be that player that I know she can be, and I think that she's waiting, for all this to happen. And so I'm excited to have her, and she's excited, obviously, to have that familiarity as well, so she can maybe come back and be the person that we know that she can be.
Fernanda Gonsalves was an all-conference setter last season. After graduating, the Roadrunners are looking to replace that leader on the floor. CSUB is expecting to turn to another former Western Nebraska Community College transfer, Louisa Martins, along with returner Sophie Flemian.
I think that obviously we have Sophie coming back and wasn't training much, as a setter a little bit, but then we have Louisa that came in and also has the familiarity with Danica and Megan. It's very hard to compare. Obviously, Fernanda left and with Louisa coming in and Sophie. I think they're all just completely different setters, but Louisa has a lot of talent as well. Came in from the junior college kind of in the same situation, knows what I like and what I expect, and how I like to run the system and run the things, that I like to do on the court. And Sophie is just a kid that, everybody loves having around and works extremely hard, has to take a few steps to get where we want her to get, but it's someone that it's going to get there. I guarantee it's going to get there because she's been working towards it. So it's hard because every setter is different, so it's hard to compare. And obviously Fernanda was a very, very talented setter, but every setter brings something completely different, and I am very big on a team situation, and as long as Louisa and Sophie can make the team play, every setter, a good setter can make any team play, any player play as well as they possibly can. So as long as they can do that, they're just as good as anybody around that's been here or are to come here.
The Roadrunners open next week at the Sam Houston State Tournament, where they'll see Mississippi State, Louisiana Monroe, and Sam Houston State. Coach Mello says it'll be an important early indicator.
We've been talking about this as coaching staff, what are our goals within this season, and obviously in the beginning of this season. It's really the first tournament. It's going to be a proof of where we are, and for us, the very first time we're going to see them play. So it's going to really be, where we need to get, what are the things we need to work on, what are the things we're good at that we just need to get it a little bit better. I mean, for us, it's just going to be, let's go fight, fight for every point and get better every single point. It's just too early to tell, in my opinion, on what we'll be able to do by the end of the season.
Once conference play opens as well, there'll be a little more pressure on CSUB to make the conference tournament, since it's being hosted at the Icardo Center.
Yeah, I mean, there will always be, every year there's a little bit of pressure, a little bit extra pressure now. It is my first season, but I do see it as, we have to work hard to try to get to that conference. If it happens or not, it's, like I said, early to tell, but it's definitely one of our goals. I don't want to say, this is, we got to make it. It's not, it's a goal that we got to put it out there. Obviously, like I said, all the things we're doing, it's different. It's going to take time, and I know it's going to take time. So we're hoping that by the end of the season, we're playing well enough so we can, so we can make it.
The Runners were tournament finalists last season, and making it back and taking that next step is not out of the minds of the returning players.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that they talk about. You can see them talking about it, and they bring it on in practices. I think that's definitely something that it's in the back of their mind. It's something they're thinking about. But it's very easy, like I said to them, it's very easy to say. We got to put it on the court, and we got to do it. So it's taking one little day at a time.
Very motivated. I think we're all on the same page in that aspect, and we're going to fight to the end just like we did last year.
And what can the fans expect this season out of Coach Mello and her Roadrunners?
I would hope we are a team that plays with a lot of passion. I have a lot of heart for what I do, and I think that will definitely transpire into them, and hopefully they will play with that passion. I really believe that when the players love what they're doing, or anybody really, love what they're doing, they will do that extremely well. So I hope that the fans can see that, that they're playing with heart and doing the best as they can, and having a lot of fun when they're doing it. So.
Bakersfield opens at Sam Houston State next weekend. Their home opener is scheduled for September 19th with the Roadrunner Classic at the Icardo Center. Still to come on Roadrunner Rundown, we'll preview the 2014 CSUB Cross Country season with head coach Marcia Manser-Wentworth. Stick around as the 2014 Fall Sports Preview edition of Roadrunner Rundown.
The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes, we're developing tomorrow's leaders from lessons learned during competition. For more information, log on to gorunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
Welcome back to the Fall Sports Preview edition of Roadrunner Rundown. Our final team on the program today is CSUB Cross Country and head coach Marcia Manser-Wentworth. The Roadrunners are looked to build on a couple of individual performances last year, but they're hoping to make it more of a team concept and better team results in 2014. Just like everything around them on their early morning campus runs, CSUB Cross Country is building in 2014. The Roadrunners struggled in their first season in the Western Athletic Conference last year, some of which was out of their hands.
While we'd hoped conference was going to be our best meet, we were stuck in LAX. That was the shooter lockdown. We got in close to midnight. We ate greasy pizza at 2 a.m. We raced the next morning. We didn't see the course, dead legs. They were disappointed, but they showed the appropriate amount of remorse for how poorly they performed, and nobody made any excuses, and I think that's a sign that we're getting tougher and stronger and more mentally prepared.
But with the first season came a lesson that head coach Marcia Manser-Wentworth and her team is definitely learning from.
I think the girls on the team get what they have to do now, and the WAC for all of our teams was a slap of reality, and many of them are getting on board. Like Ariana Mariscal stepped up big time for us, indoors and outdoors. We're hoping to translate that to track success. Megan Thompson had a great track year. We're hoping to translate that to some cross-country success. LaShia Morgan's very hard worker, leads the practices. We just need to translate those great workouts into races, which is maturity and getting used to racing in a big group of people instead of just being able to go out fast and hang on like you do in high school. Most of them aren't used to running in a big pack, and that can be overwhelming sometimes. And so we're working on that, and we're working out harder. They put in big summers, which is essential in cross country. So we will be an improved team. We're hoping to move up a few spots in the WAC standings.
Despite a rough end to last season, development during the spring in the track and field realm is inspiring for this cross-country group.
As every single person we had on our track squad last year, not just the distance and middle distance gang, everybody improved on their personal best. So I think they saw the WAC cross-country as well as indoors as a wake-up call, and the guys actually got to see that coming and saying, you know, what we've done in the past is not going to get it done anymore. So we've had to up our game a lot. And we've shown the discipline, and I think we've met the challenges. And we're not going to be a contender right off the bat. It's going to be a slow, gradual build. But as long as I'm seeing improvement and the kids on the team are seeing improvement, I think we can build on the success we've had, and we focus on the good things and not so much on the bad things when we try to learn from every possible experience.
Coach Wentworth's leaders this season happen to be those she expects to have the biggest years for the Roadrunners as well.
Megan Thompson, she's got a little battle with anemia now, which is very, very common among female distance runners, but I've had a girl that had anemia at the beginning of the season and qualified for the NCAAs by the end. So she's on it. She's going to do all the right stuff. I think hopefully LaShia will step up and realize that she can compete at this level. Ariana Mariscal, who is a middle distance runner, who generally speaking 800-meter runners are not your stars in cross country, but I think she knows that this is her path to success, and she'll be a much improved cross country runner, which will, holy cow, she's going to light it up on the track this year. Those are our top three. We get back Jory Broughton, who will be a fifth-year senior, and she's in graduate school here in the Peak program. Very, very reliable competitor, not a lead runner, but a leader on the team.
Part of the building process for the Roadrunners has been tapping into the local cross-country talent pool.
I think a lot of times it's like anything else, and I dealt with this when I was at the University of Central Florida, even though we were really good. Sometimes the locals don't really, they want to get out of town. They want a different experience. And so we're trying to present them that this is a good option. I think having experience myself as a distance runner and starting my coaching career as a distance coach and moving into the sprints and hurdles and the other events, they kind of maybe respect that and think that I'm going to look out for them.
With a talented group, the Roadrunners are focusing on the big picture in 2014.
The races, everything is leading up to the WAC championship, so not having to contend with a one-win-loss record like traditional team sports, we're able to focus on the big picture, and if we take some hits early on, it's not a big deal as long as we're learning from every experience. So we have the luxury that some other sports don't have.
The runners have also been fortunate to add world-class experience to their coaching staff.
Last January, I had a young woman come to me who, Cecily Liu, she was Cecily Lemon Liu when she ran at BYU. She was second at the NCAA championships. Phenomenal runner. She began as a walk-on at BYU. She was a big help to us on the track, and the girls and the guys just adore her. And then Lindsay Anderson, who was on your show a couple weeks ago, who is an Olympian in the steeplechase and a member of the World Championship team. The thing that's neat about these two young women is both of them were solid college athletes, but they got their stardom during their last few years in college. So they're truly evidence of what you can do with hard work and dedication. So I think that should inspire people. And that's what I'm looking for, is these two young women to help inspire these the people we have on our team, and get them fired up, because so much of it is if you believe you can do it, you can do it.
That mentality has helped turn this program in the right direction.
And I think they see it. And I'm a really enthusiastic person, and the glass is always half full, and I try to see the best in things, and I'm out there all the time with them, and they know I understand what they're going through, and I don't tolerate belly aching, and I think, I just kind of make a joke about it and move forward, and I think they're starting to see that. And it's success is contagious. Positive attitudes are contagious. Leadership is contagious. We were lacking leadership. Now we have phenomenal leadership.
I challenge you guys. Dig down, okay? You got a couple of days. I know this is a hard workout. That's why we did it.
In short, there's plenty to be proud of about this squad and to look forward to this season.
That's one of the things I'm proud of, the academic success coming around I'm proud of. And I think when you've changed those attitudes, you can't help but become better athletes, and we're going to do it the right way, slow and steady.
All right, good start, way to be tough. 12 weeks, okay? What we got? Runners on 3. 1, 2, 3, runners!
Thanks so much for joining us on this special fall sports preview edition of Roadrunner Rundown. Don't forget, action gets underway this weekend as women's soccer hosts Gonzaga Friday night and Eastern Washington on Sunday. You can get full schedules of all our teams online at GoRunners.com. You can even download them and import them into your mobile device via the eCal feature on the schedule page, so you never miss a Roadrunners contest. Hey, get previous editions of this program on demand as well at GoRunners.com. Thanks so much for joining us. Corey Costello saying so long as we get ready for the 2014 season. We'll catch you next time right here on Roadrunner Rundown.